Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, there's lots of things happening right now, lots of building work, lots of mud everywhere. But Bob will talk you through everything that happens on the site if you're going into the garden and the restaurant. We are going to cook today, but obviously because there's so much happening, we're gonna be in this beautiful corner over here. So welcome back to the channel. What we got here, I did a little bit of preparation before. I got the ham from North Acomb Farm, which is 20 minutes that way towards Newcastle, which is an old farm run by a guy called Robin. Pick him up, he raises some pigs. Basically what you need to make it, you need water, carrots, aromats, onions, a couple of peppercorns, and then you just salt the ham overnight, and then you put it in the water and you cook it for around 6-7 hours, and then you should end up with something like this. And this has now been cooking for 6 hours. Oh. What we're now gonna do, we are going to honey glaze it. Take it out of the pan. Take some of these aromats straight into the pot. What we also got here, a bit of string to keep it all together. Move it around. And I take away some of the sage, onions, thyme. Basically, there's no limitations for what you can put in there. You put anything in there that you enjoy. It's basically cook it nicely and gently, and off we go. You got a ham. Basically, by brining the ham, you make it a bit more tender, and you're seasoning it. What I normally do, I do 1 liter of water to 20 grams of salt. Then you leave it in there overnight. To be fair, it doesn't really matter how long you leave it in there. You can leave it in there as long as you want. We're just gonna start off, because when you cook it, you make it more tender. It's very important you get it up to around maybe 65-70 degrees, not really higher, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. That cooks the ham, and then you're gonna remember you cook it more when you put the glaze and the other stuff around it. We put it back into the fire to get some heat on it, and then we're gonna make our glaze. Remember to never throw away the broth. This is perfect. I'm going to show you a little trick at the end what you can actually do with the broth, which is very, very delicious. But in here you got pork, you got all the herbs, you got carrots. If you just have a look around, like it's just been sitting in this beautiful liquid for a long time. You know, so there's loads of flavor in this, you know. You can even strain it off, put it in a thermos, and then take it off a walk or picnic or whatever. Our honey glaze, we start off with some mustard. This is Dijon mustard, and obviously honey. This is honey from a local farm around the area that we use. We just pour similar amount of honey to mustard. Don't be shy. And the honey is like the good part, and hopefully, if you do this right, it's gonna caramelize and it's gonna make it all sticky. We got some breadcrumbs. You can make this easy. You just take some white bread and you blitz it up, and you can use that. I just got someone from the shop this morning. Put that in, and then I like to put a little bit of olive oil. Not much, just to make that a little bit more shiny. Like that. Salt, pepper, like this. Get it in. Don't be shy. And then just give it a good mix. You see this coming together. Breadcrumbs helps it out to become a little bit like a nicer crust in it, and helps it go around. But the most important is the honey and mustard combination. You got that sweet and spicy mixture together. You can see already the ham is kind of falling apart. This is the point where now we want to get this into the pan. Get that beautiful glaze on it. And don't be shy, you know, like this is, we're gonna get this nice and sticky all the way around it. And what we want to do, Well, if you're at home, I would just pop it in the oven. But this, we just want to literally just glaze it around. Get this honey and the mustard nicely colored. Because I take it out when it's still warm, this is not about cooking the ham. This is all about just glazing it around, making it nice and sticky, and get some nice, beautiful color on it. And then you can eat it when it's warm, which is my favorite, or my second favorite. You put it on a beautiful. You slice it up when it's cold, and then you put it on a beautiful piece of toast with a bit more mustard on top. You can see here the glaze is starting to reduce down a bit. Flip it over to the side. It's easy, so you stand still. Very well. And then we're gonna just take this. Very well. And we're also making this on the barbecue, which makes it always a tiny bit more difficult. Instead, if you were at home, you could just shove it in the oven, forget about it. Put a bit more glaze on. Like I said, don't be shy at all with this. We got all the sweet and sour and spicy and salty, peppery, all in one little glaze here. Put that back on. Get it on the heat. And Christmas ham is one of those things where when it gets close to Christmas, I guess there's one of those things you just need to have. I don't know if you could call this Christmas ham, but you could definitely have this all year around, in my opinion. Easter, midsummer, every time. Every time is good for a piece of delicious pork that's been mustard glazed. It's one of those things that's just really, really nice and homely, and people always enjoy it, you know, and always a staple for me during Christmas, and I guess for many, many more people. So let's keep that roasting off here nicely. Take it out. So what we really want to do is to get all this to a nice dark color. And on top of that, you can see the honey starts become golden brown. Look at that. Beautiful. Pop it in. Give that a couple of minutes to get some heat on it. As you can see, it's been in the barbecue, I would say, for around 20 minutes. And it's just about ready. This is hot. Cut. Okay, ready? We gotta do a cheap trick. We put a knife in, get it in, take him up. There we go. Take some out. Voila. Beautiful piece of pork. I got a little trick, which is quite nice. If you're gonna keep it for later on, or following, we take cloves. One of those typical winter spices. And what we're gonna do with the cloves is gonna stick them in. All random little pieces. All over the shop into this beautiful glaze. And that reminds me of the ultimate Christmas. And that would then also infuse the ham and all the things around it. Don't be shy. Look at this. Obviously, the favorite parts, you can let this sit in the fridge. And the second favorites, you cut them up when it's straight off the pan. Nice and warm. Too hot for me. And we got it cut, or it just falls apart. Look at this. So the beautiful. I'm just gonna line this up on this beautiful plate. Okay, so obviously if you want to do this at home, you go to your local butchers and you ask for a nice pork haunch or pork leg, or you just ask the butchers for pre-salted ham. It's a crowd pleaser, it's cheap. I think this piece of pork cost me around £10, something like that. So it's cheap, it's a crowd pleaser, everyone knows it. And what you have here on the cutting board, don't get rid of this. You put that on the side of the plate like that. And I do like to finish up with a tiny bit of salt.
Very shippy.
Voila, honey roasted ham and cloves.